If there was a place that you felt you belong, and it's a place you've been longing to return to, even if you've burned through all of your chances, would you give it one last try? I've never been on a pilgrimage, but each year I used to visit this Southeast Asian third world village, and they say that pictures can paint 1,000 words, so I wrote 1,000 words for you to build an image. Imagine the scenery, endless rolling mountains with tropical greenery and hot air balloons that float dreamily above from sun up to sundown, casting their shadow on this rundown village in a valley that inspires you with like feelings of wonder and awe. And local people are wonderful, pure, humble. They learn to live comfortable poor because there weren't that much money around. But a couple of entrepreneurs did make bank. And I use the word bank deliberately because through this village ran a river, and every day the Nam Song River would deliver fresh batches of backpackers like me looking for other free spirits. And if a genie ever grants me 3 wishes, this is the first place I will revisit, because we used to float down that river in a big rubber ring. And the locals would throw out a rope to pull us in to their bar along the riverside, and every bar had rope swings and zip lines. Simple designs made from bamboo and driftwood that somehow withstood wrinkles of time. And I recognized the power in the primitive, and every day I would cross that river on this rickety wicker bridge, and I would pause to appreciate the privilege and the surroundings, the magic of those mountains. Hugging that skyline was my daily routine, and every day was a crazy new dream. You don't need to plan when you are Peter Pan. And I could have stayed in Never Never Land forever. And it weren't just me, I was one of a bunch of backpackers who came through for a day or two and ended up sticking around for a couple of months. And we were young and fun and reckless, and every time we would shotgun a beer, we would keep a ring pull to add to our necklace. We even had a prayer. It was like, may these beers go down smoothly, efficiently, with minimal spillage and absolutely no after sickness. Despite all of the shenanigans, the locals embraced us. They would take us to cultural gatherings. This was beyond backpacking, beyond traveling. This was belonging. My first real taste of freedom. And the moment I got back to England, I booked flights to return the following season. And you know what it's like when you're excited to be somewhere, so I'm just like marking off the days on the calendar. And it weren't just me, like all friends from around the world had coordinated to return to the same place. I was so excited. And then one day I opened up my phone a few weeks out and I see the news, and our little underground river had gone mainstream for the wrong reasons. The Lao government had sent in their military to tear down all of the bars along the river. Anybody remotely resembling a foreigner was kicked out of the country, and they imposed a curfew across the entire area. So like, the thought that maybe we didn't belong there anymore, it didn't even cross my mind, even when I saw the episode on 60 Minutes, because I had these tickets and I had to revisit. So I took the plane, train, bus across ridges and waters and bridges and borders, all the way down to this riverside village, only to witness the silence, the crickets. And this buzzy little village we used to float down was now a ghost town. And everything slowed down to a halt. And my friends and I couldn't help feel that we were somewhat at fault. There was a crew of us, a dedicated few of us who tried, honestly, we tried to keep that spirit alive. And to ensure the rest of this story is raw and compelling, I'll switch back to the traditional method of storytelling. We were chilling in that guest house one night, it was 8 of us, we were discussing how many silverback gorillas you could fit in the back of a Ford Transit van. And the door flung open, and it was the police with dollar signs in his eyes. And he rounded us all up, took us to the local police station for processing, and then under the cover of darkness at 3 a.m., we were all loaded into the back of a pickup truck and taken to the middle of an airfield. There was a concrete compound about the size of this space, split into 4 separate cells and a hallway. And when we were inside this hallway, we were forced under threat of violence to strip down to our bare essentials, and we were told that after 3 months, we could call our family. And the irony weren't lost. Here we were at a place that we felt that we belonged, and they were confiscating our belongings. Here we were in a place that we believed to be so free, and they were taking away our freedom. So they split us up and put us in separate cells. It was me and my friend, a nitwit called Eddie, and we were in this cell with 14 local inmates. 16 of us in this one space, about as big as your bedroom. No windows, a light bulb hanging from a wire that stays on 24/7. The temperature of the space is how you could roughly gauge if it was day or night, because it would range between a sauna and an ice box. And in the corner was a trough, multi-purpose. And here's where it gets really messed up. In the middle of the room were wooden shackles for our ankles. I could go into depth about the ups and downs of this time. Fortunately, it wasn't 3 months, it was 3 days. And after 3 days of being traumatized and mortified, they took us and they brought us to the Capitol, and they gave each of us a huge fine. And they loaded all of us into the back of a pickup truck, took us to the border and deported us. And there we were in this melee, this whirlwind. And the high-ranking government official who'd been handling our case, the sort of guy who speaks multiple languages with a wry sense of humor, he said to us, "We can tell you are good people. This is just not a good time. You'll be welcome back in the future." Mixed signals, mate. I'm getting deported. Time passed, months, year and a half. Friends were coming and going to this place, and I started to miss it. A few friends, even from that ordeal, had decided to go back and give it another chance. So we rallied up morale between us across the interwebs, and we coordinated another visit. I missed it. I did. I missed it. I missed the magical, mystic mountains. I missed the valley. I missed my misfits. So I booked some tickets. I had to revisit. I took the plane, train, bus across ridges and waters and bridges and borders and borders. Out of the 12 of us, every single person got through except me. The border officials said I could not enter. Some of the people who got in were in this predicament with me. However, they had collected new passports. So there I was, walking across no man's land with a plan. I knew exactly what I needed to do. So with my tail between my legs, I walked back to the embassy, and I got myself a new passport. Freedom, right? And yet again, I took myself on that journey all the way back to that border, and I got there and I was like bold, walking with a swag of, someone who's just picked up another get in for free ticket, and they knocked me back again. Yeah. And that was 10 years ago. So for the last 10 years, I've had this strange feeling. If someone said oh, you can never play piano, even if you never wanted to play piano, the fact that you're not allowed, it might cause an issue. So I'm seeing all of these friends, this crew that I've built up across the world, and it's marvelous. It's such a network, and they can all go there. There's been weddings celebrated there, and all of this. I couldn't go to none of it. I've had to partition that side of myself. But what it has enabled me to do, upon that second time of getting there and being rejected, they said to me, "Forever, forever." And I guess that's a degree of closure. I went from feeling like Peter Pan to being banned from Never Never Land forever. Forever. But what it did enable me to do is have space to find other places that I did belong. I'm a heavy believer that we should not stay where we are tolerated, we should go where we are celebrated. And I'm not entirely sure where I fit in en masse, but being here and feeling a sense of belonging with you guys right now, this place. Maybe the universe was knocking me back for various reasons to keep me on the right path. And by being on this path and by focusing and dedicated to aligning my purpose and growing up, something you can't do in Never Never Land, I haven't been deported, I've been rewarded. So now, as an Australian passport holder, if there was a place that you felt you belong, and it's a place you've been longing to return to, Even if you've burned through all of your chances, would you give it one last try?